or Beltane, also called Maiwein. Beltane marks the halfway point between the vernal equinox, the first day of spring, and the summer solstice, or the first day of summer. It's a wonderful time of celebrating love and fertility above all else. It's basking in the warmth and the light of the sun and enjoying everything as much as you can. This time also marks the second point in the year when the veil is thinnest. Divinatory practices, any sort of spiritual channeling, any sort of prayers or spiritual communication will be easiest and strongest. To mark and celebrate this time of year, we are making Maiwein, which is a traditional German beverage made around this time of year to take advantage of some of the wonderful things that have already come about from the spring. I did have to order a special ingredient for this that is not native to my area, but I'm going to talk about a couple of options you have depending on whether you have the ingredient in question available to you or if you don't. But I am going to try a non-alcoholic version as well for any of you that for dietary reasons, health reasons, whatever they may be, can't or won't or shouldn't imbibe. This recipe, however, is going to be a bit more time involved than previous ones, despite how simple it actually is, because we actually need to infuse the main core of the beverage overnight. I'll go over what ingredients we'll be working with for the different versions, and then we will open our 2 bottles to add in the herb to let it infuse, and then we'll come back tomorrow to finish everything off to serve. So the ingredients you need for Maiwein are actually very, very simple. At its core, Maiwein is a white wine. You typically want a sweet, light-bodied white wine. I've gone with a German Riesling. You also are going to need an herb that is native to Central Europe called sweet woodruff. It is also called Waldmeister, or Master of the Woods. Sweet woodruff is a round cover blossoming herb. It produces a bunch of these tiny, beautiful little white wildflowers. And when I opened the bag to transfer into this jar earlier, I started smelling it and it smelled familiar, but I couldn't quite place it. It actually almost smells like honey or honeysuckle. It's really interesting. I've also seen it described as being an herbal sort of vanilla in flavor. As an alternative, and I have tried this before, I don't know if it's going to taste the same. I'm going to try both options just to see how it compares. I am going to make a version with some rosemary and a bit of vanilla extract to see if we can kind of recreate the flavor as closely as we can with stuff that will be more widely available if for whatever reason you can't get the sweet woodruff. I did order this online. If you don't want to take that chance or just don't have it available in your area, you could of course try a different herb that is similar that grows in your area, or you can try to give the vanilla and rosemary a try. As our base for the non-alcoholic, I'm going with a strawberry lemonade. Typically Maiwein is served in a glass over strawberries, and some people will also add lemons or some other citrus, so that is what I've also gone with. When I attempted it previously without the woodruff with the vanilla instead, I essentially made a white wine sangria with it, where I poured the white wine into a pitcher with strawberries and slices of lemon and some vanilla extract, gave it a stir, and let it sit long enough to kind of infuse all of the flavors. So that's another way you could approach this recipe, is to make a white wine sangria with all the ingredients. It's typically served over strawberries, so I do have strawberries here that are really only going to be used for the serving aspect. I'm going to give these a wash, and I might actually split these and put half in a bowl with some white sugar to sort of start turning into a compote overnight while this infuses with the herb. And I'm going to leave the other half just washed and plain. The lemons I'm just going to slice and either put on the side of the glass or drop one, like half of a slice, into the glass with the wine. But because the strawberries and lemon are such a common serving garnish for this drink, that's why I went with a strawberry lemonade for the non-alcoholic version. What I'm gonna do now is pop open both of these bottles, and I'm gonna tip a little bit out to make room for the sweet woodruff. The only issue with this recipe is every version that I have found is presuming that you have fresh flower at your disposal. So I keep getting amounts of how many sprigs of the plant to use. as opposed to how many cups or ounces or something to that effect. So I've estimated about half a cup. One thing that it does tell me is to pour off about 4 ounces of the wine to make room for the herb. I'm gonna pour off that much and add however much herb I can get to fit in the bottle without it overflowing, and we'll just go with that. And then I'll cap it. I'll up-und it a few times to distribute the herb into the wine. It wants you to infuse it not chilled, but I would rather keep the wine chilled, so I'm probably gonna put it in the fridge overnight. But yeah, so we're gonna pour off about 4 ounces here, which is about half a cup, and I am going to pour that into this honey bottle that I have left over. Oh, and it should be obvious, but since this recipe is alcoholic, please only consume it if it is safe for you to do so. Please only consume it if you are of legal age. Please handle and consume alcohol responsibly. I'm gonna set this one aside because that's what we're gonna add the vanilla and the rosemary to. One thing that was also recommended in most of the recipes was to warm up the woodruff before you add it. So I'm gonna get a couple of paper towels and spread this between the paper towels and zap it in the microwave for like 5 to 10 seconds to heat up the herb, because I think that'll help the oils to naturally seep out into the wine faster. And so maybe we can let this infuse for 12 hours and get the same effect.
Woodruff is a masculine herb associated with Mars, fire, victory, protection, and money.
I'm trying to spread the pile as evenly and flat as I can, but I don't want to go too close to the edges because I don't want it to spill out when I pick it up and try to move it. So now I'll zap this for, I'll go with 5 seconds for now, see how warm it is, and if it doesn't seem warm enough, I'll do another 5 seconds. I just don't want to start frying the herb. So I'd say go closer to 15 to 20, depending how powerful your microwave is. You might want to use 5 to 10 second bursts like I did. I'm gonna go a bit longer. I think I might try 30 seconds because it's cooling off too quickly. I can smell it, so I think that's warm enough. I'm going to take the same funnel and put it in the bottle of wine and fold the paper towel and just start pouring the herb. And it's getting stuck in the funnel, so just going to tap it. Half a cup seemed to be correct. So we're gonna cap this.
Because you're infusing, right?
Yes, it's neat to watch it swirling around in there. I know you can't see as well because it is a blue glass bottle. I'm gonna set this back in the fridge in the wine rack overnight. I'm gonna give it 12 hours and see how it looks and smells. And if I think it needs more time, then we'll come back at 3:30 tomorrow. Now we are gonna do the same thing for the strawberry lemonade. The neck of this bottle is a little bit bigger, so I hopefully won't need the funnel. Right. Screw the cap back on, and same as with the wine, upend it a few times to incorporate the herb. I'll set this back in the fridge as well. And to the small one, just to test out how this tastes as a comparison, I'm gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla and about a teaspoon of rosemary. And I had poured some off just to make sure there was room, so I'll add the rest of that back in. And I already stirred it, but I'm gonna upend it a few times as well. And this will go in the fridge with the others. So now I'm gonna take my bunch of strawberries and give these a wash. I'll probably cut the tops off of all of them, and then I'll try to portion out about half of them to mix with some sugar. The other half I'll just leave alone for fresh slicing or serving. For anyone curious, these are Louisiana strawberries from the Ponchatoula area, because of course they are. I'll cut off all the tops and go grab the sugar to add to half of these.
Strawberries are a feminine fruit associated with Venus or Freya, water, love, and luck.
I'm trying to preserve as much of the berry as possible as I cut these. I love strawberries. So this is the batch I'll put the sugar with, so I'm gonna slice these in half. I'm gonna cover these and set them aside while I slice the tops off the rest, and then I'll go grab the sugar. So the other batch I've left whole and I've already put in the fridge. So now I'm going to add the sugar to these. And this is also what we do for strawberry shortcake. Whatever I have left after making the Maiwein, I may get or make some simple yellow sponge cake. And I don't have a measurement for this, by the way, but I am just sprinkling enough to coat these things as thoroughly as possible. Just want to close the lid and give it a shake. But the purpose of this is to draw the juices out of the strawberries. You're basically making a very, very simple compote here. Now that that's fairly well coated, I'm going to just sprinkle a bit more over the top. Anybody who's gonna go down in my comments and just complain about the amount of sugar, this is obviously not meant to be healthy, but at least it's fruit instead of candy. If you're gonna get mad at me for any of the things in this video is just not for you, and I recommend clicking off and doing something better with your day than complaining at me in my comments. So now comes the hardest and longest part, which is waiting. We put the wine in the fridge at about 3:30. The lemonade probably went in closer to 3:45, and it's almost 4 o'clock now for those strawberries. Now, I'm not as worried about the strawberries because that's part of why I have 2 batches. The wine is the tricky part. Since I'm not going to get up at 3:30 a.m. to check on it, I'll just check it in the morning and see how it looks and smells and tastes. Same with the lemonade. And if it seems like it needs more time, then I'll wait till about 3:30 to pull it back out and do the rest of the recipe, or basically show you guys how to serve or how I'm going to serve it. But if it seems fine in the morning, then we'll do it then. I am gonna go work on some tarot readings now as soon as my camera charges because it's been dying this whole time, and I will see you all in the morning. All right, so it is 11:38 a.m. the next day. I'm gonna pull out the bottles and check them because it's been 13, 14. It's been about 20 hours, so that should have been enough time for it. We're gonna pull out all 3 bottles and see how they look, how they smell, give them a little taste test. Here's our tiny one with the vanilla and the rosemary. And there's the lemonade, and here is the wine. That just smells like wine. I think the true test for the wine is going to be the taste of it. I will say this is a fizzier wine. I can definitely smell the woodruff. I will probably strain the rosemary out of this one, but for this one, I'm just going to serve it through a strainer so that you're not getting all the bits of the woodruff in it. Same for this one, because this is also a very pulpy lemonade. I am not a pulp person. If you're doing this for an event, you might want to strain it into a carafe or pitcher ahead of time. Let's get glasses and pull out the strawberries to see how they are. Grab the lemons so we can slice, and we'll give these a go. You guys need to see how beautiful that juice looks. Look at that. This is how you very quickly can make a fruit syrup. You could do that with blueberries, raspberries. You could probably do it with banana. I might try it with limes one time. Lemons, the array of my glasses. I've got a Disney World 50th anniversary plastic souvenir cup. I've got my oh for fuck's sake wine glass, and I've got a Mecca-Con Crescent Station shot glass. Fishing out 1 syrupy strawberry to put in here, and a spoonful of the syrup. So I'm gonna pour this one first. Give a little bit of room at the top. So this is the rosemary vanilla one. I should go ahead and slice the lemon first. We're gonna slice this in half.
Lemons are a feminine fruit associated with the moon and the element of water, as well as longevity, purification, love, and friendship.
And as I mentioned before, people will use citrus of all sorts. Lemon is like the go-to, but you can of course use lime. You could use oranges, like navel oranges. You could use satsuma. You could probably use grapefruit, yuzu, whatever citrus you prefer. I'm trying to very thinly slice this. And please don't comment about my cutting technique. I know it's not great. I am not a trained chef. I am doing the best I can. And in spite of my technique being poor, I am being as careful as I can because I understand, my ability. That's a nice thin slice there. Stick that in there. And there's glass number 1. So now I'm going to pour the lemonade here. Oh wait, I forgot to put the strawberries in there. Hang on. Now we will pour the rest of this. Grabbing 1 very nice strawberry, and I'm just going to split it at the tip about half to 2/3 of the way up. Stick that on the side of the glass, and then I will create a slit in my lemon wedge as well and prop that behind it. So there is number 2. This is your non-alcoholic one with the strawberry lemonade. So now for the star of the show, the intended version of this with the actual wine and the woodruff. I'm gonna put 5 of these in here. And a couple extra spoonfuls of the juice. And you don't have to even use the strawberries. This is just the typical way it's served, but if you have a particularly favorite fruit that natively is in your area that comes into season right around the middle of springtime, right around the end of April into May, will be perfect for this. Strawberry and lemon tend to be the default for how this sort of thing is served where it's from, and those things work for me as well. But obviously if you live somewhere where there's another sort of berry that's more prominent, that would be my suggestion. Use whatever is local to you, or use whatever is as local to you as possible. I did off camera add a couple of lemon slices to the glass as well. Now we are going to strain the wine into here. Go to about there because it is a very large glass and I don't want to drain the whole bottle. I'm going to do the same thing as with the lemonade. I'm going to take this strawberry and cut it about half to 2/3 of the way up to set on the side of the glass. And I will put a slit in my lemon slice and prop that right behind. And I'm actually going to take a couple of the strawberries that weren't in the syrup to quarter and add to the glass as well, because I love strawberries. And I have a whole second punnet that I haven't even touched yet in the fridge, so I'm not worried about going through them too quick. Taking advantage of them while they're here. There are your 3 options. This is the woodruff-free one with the wine, in case you can't get a hold of woodruff or choose not to order it online for whatever reason. Here's the non-alcoholic strawberry lemonade, and the original intention Maiwein with the woodruff and actual wine. So now we're gonna give these a taste. We're gonna give the OG Maiwein a try, and then I'll try the other 2 to see how they compare. It smells good. I'm mostly getting the lemon right here on the side, but yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, it's subtle, but it's in there. That's very good. I like that. It's interesting. It's a bit more of a honey sort of note, but I can get the herbal aspect of it, and I can kind of get where people thought vanilla. You might have better luck using honey or honeysuckle, something with that sort of honey note to it, than using the vanilla. It almost tastes like mead without actually being mead. It's so weird. Yeah, that's very good. That is very good. So I'm gonna see about the strawberry lemonade. This is probably mostly gonna taste like strawberry lemonade if I had to guess, because that's already a pretty strong flavor, but we'll give it a fair shot. It smells like lemonade. It's strawberry lemonade. The woodruff seems to not be as strong in here, probably because the other flavors are already so prominent. What I would guess is that since this is 1.5 liters, I should have used more of the woodruff, so that is the issue. If you are going to do what I did, scale up the amount of woodruff for the amount of liquid. So that was my fault. Sorry, Bramble's drinking water behind me. But it's still, I mean, it's strawberry lemonade. It's good. Yeah, if you try making a non-alcoholic one with some lemonade, either get the same size bottle that you would get of the wine, which the wine is 750 milliliters, or scale up the amount of woodruff you're using to match the amount of liquid that you have to infuse. All right, so lastly, first off, I want y'all to appreciate the sort of almost tequila sunrise layering I've created here. We're gonna try the one that I used rosemary and vanilla to try to recreate the flavor. This one definitely smells different from the original one. It's not quite the same flavor. I can definitely tell it's rosemary, but it's good. So it might be an option. Like I said, after tasting the original one, I think honey or something with a honey-like flavor is gonna be closer than a vanilla. If you like vanilla, go ahead and use it, but I think a honey vanilla as opposed to the rosemary would probably be more accurate to the original taste. It's still good though. The rosemary works. It's just, it's not woodruff. But you know, use your favorite herb. If woodruff, if the Waldmeister is not available in your area, then use whatever herbs are. Use your favorite one. One thing I will say though, especially when you're using any sort of herb that isn't familiar to you and that you've never tried before, and particularly when mixing them with alcohol, be very careful to look up any of the potential health side effects of some of these herbs. Many plants that exist in our world are toxic. And many of them, while fine for normal people, become toxic when mixed with certain health conditions or medications that you might be taking. So if you're absolutely not sure, do thorough research, and if you really want to cover all your bases, talk to your doctor and make sure that it's gonna be okay for you to consume any of these herbs. But yeah, I would call this one a success. I think that's another successful recipe. I am going to go finish this while I edit this, but thank you all so much for hanging out with me while I try out
out another brand new recipe. I'm very pleased with this result. If you give this recipe a try, let me know what you think. Let me know how it turned out for you, either down in the comments or on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm on as many platforms as I could think would be relevant. But yeah, I hope you give this a try, and I hope you like it as much as I did, and I wish you all a blessed Beltane. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, you know where all the buttons and the links are to show me that love at this point. If you'd like to find more content like this, I have my DIY playlist linked in the cards and the descriptive tome below, where you can find other recipe videos as well as other do-it-yourself projects. If you would like to keep up with my adventures on other social media planes, you can also find in the descriptive tome my Linktree portal with access to Facebook, Instagram, X, and so on. And as always, I would like to give a huge special thankful shout out to my coven of patrons who continue to be my biggest and most pivotal supporters. And if you, dear viewer, would like to join their ranks, again, check that Linktree portal for the Patreon access, where pledges start at $1 a month. Thanks again. Stay tuned for the Beltane divination on the 1st of May, as well as gaming VODs, the very last video for Alice Pestle, at least for now, and a couple of new surprises coming along the way. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Keep aiming, my loves. Mwah! Mm.